Good morning, I'm Isaiah Jacob. Ohio State fell last night to 15th-ranked Virginia 70-66. The Buckeyes scored just 5 points in the final 5 minutes of the game, and they all came in the final 30 seconds. In other news, Team USA men's hockey is off to a strong start at the 2026 Winter Olympics, coming off a 5-1 victory over Latvia on Thursday and following that up with a 6-3 win against Denmark yesterday. Team USA's next test is its final matchup in the preliminary round today against Germany. Puck dropped to 3:10. NBA All-Star Weekend is underway, and yesterday NBA Commissioner Adam Silver commented on the state of the NBA and said that tanking has been worse this year than we've seen in recent memory. He's considering every possible remedy, specifically mentioning taking draft picks away. Breaking sports news when it happens on The Fan, Ohio sports destination.
This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
This is the show that allows you to be the star. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
So close last night, Scotty. Yet still so far away. It was tough. Right there, an underhanded, undermanned Buckeyes team down in Nashville had a chance to get maybe their signature, well, it would have been their signature win on the season, maybe that kind of win to help get you into the big dance for the first time in a couple of years. But unfortunately, the Buckeyes come up just short. In the end, they lose to number 15, Virginia, 70-66 last night. Bruce Thornton, 28 points, a heck of a performance out of him. Amari Bynum, liked what you saw from him, stretching his game a little bit, hitting some threes. He chipped in with 15 in 6 boards. But again, in the end, just not enough for this undermanned Buckeyes team.
Yeah, really frustrating, Ryan. And you had every opportunity because, gosh, for 30 minutes, Ohio State played some really, really good basketball against a good team on what was basically a road game. If you were watching that game, it was probably 75, 80% Virginia fans in Nashville for that game. But, oh gosh, Bruce put Ohio State on his back and tried to will them to the NCAA tournament. A win like that would have gone such a big way in this team making the jump to the NCAA tournament. But the other thing is, too, finding out the news just a few hours before tip that you lose the second best player on this team in Junie Mobley was an absolute killer. And all week, Ryan, the last couple days, I felt really confident Ohio State was going to go down there and win that game. And I just felt it because I watched the entire Virginia-Florida State game during the week, kind of getting ready for the game. I'm like, this is an okay Virginia team. It's not a great Virginia team. And I feel like Ohio State's going to feel like everything is on the line in this game. You win this game and you're all set up to make the tournament. And then you have that huge letdown news just a couple hours. I was so deflated when found out that Mobley was going to be out.
Yeah, it was a bummer, and we don't know how long. It's just indefinitely right now with John Mobley Jr. We want to hear from you. 614-821-9710 is the number. Even on Fox's pregame last night, they talked about some of the heat Jake Diebler has taken on Twitter this week for things going on here with the Ohio State program. Do we think is it Jake Diebler's fault? Is there more to this than just Coach Diebler? There's a lot of things here that we want to get into. 614-821-9710, and we have prizes.
We do. We have prizes throughout the hour today. Multiple gift cards to give away to some of our favorite calls. So hop on the line, 614-821-9710. We want your take on Ohio State basketball. You could dip into other topics as well, but obviously we want to kind of focus a little bit on your thoughts on the state of the Ohio State basketball program. Should Jake Diebler be on the hot seat? I don't believe so. I don't think so. I think he needs another opportunity next year. But we want your thoughts on it. 614-821-9710. Those gift cards are available. We got gift cards to Skyline Chili. Oh, baby, I love me some Skyline. And then we've got some gift cards to the Walrus, which I love going to the Walrus. I got to tell you, I got a little bit of a ping pong game. There's not a lot of bars and restaurants in Columbus that offer great ping pong tables like the Walrus. So
I did not know that.
Yes. Oh, there's a little side room. Anthony Rothman and I used to play a lot of ping pong at the Walrus. So also great food. But Skyline Chili and the Walrus gift cards this morning.
And you can also hit us up on the YouTube chat. Just search 971 The Fan. All of our shows are always there. And Chris in the YouTube chat right now, Scotty, has a question that kind of became a thing this week on the airwaves right here. Do we want Ohio State basketball to make the tournament? Some people have said that they don't think that they should. I understand the premise behind that, right, Scotty? Because I'm a Browns and a Reds fan. In the past couple of years, the Browns and the Reds have had coaches that I did not believe in. I still wanted them to win and make the postseason and do good, even in spite of that coach. And we talked about this, and we can get into it more throughout the show. I don't know if Jake Diebler, in fact, I'm pretty daggone sure that Jake Diebler is not the main problem with this Buckeyes basketball team. I also am not sure that if Ohio State misses the tournament this year, which we hope they make it in, I don't know if Jake Diebler's going anywhere, quite frankly, even if they miss the tournament. So I don't think any of that will cure whatever you think ails this team. So, no, I want them in the tournament. I am rooting for them. I want them to get there. Do I think they will? That's a different discussion, and I don't think they will, and I haven't thought they will all year long because I just didn't think that this team had the talent to get there. But gosh, I want them there. I want to be rooting for them in March.
Ryan, you know me. I dream about the NCAA tournament just about every single day throughout the year. And the NCAA tournament is so much more fun when your team is participating in it, right? And so I daydream of Ohio State being in the tournament just about every single day. I'm passionate about it. I love Ohio State hoops. I couldn't imagine not wanting them to be in the tournament, but I'm also going to defend T-Bone a little bit because he made this comment on a Hot Take Tuesday on T-Bone and Tyvis. And I completely understand where he's coming from. And I also know that T-Bone, like me, is a big Ohio State hoops fan. Mm-hmm. Like sometimes in this position, you get emotional a little bit, right, about your teams. And for me, I think he's obviously frustrated with the state of the program and it being mediocre. And I get that. Like, I completely get the frustration. And so the path to making a change in his mind is you might need to miss the tournament and move on from your coach. I don't agree with that at all. Like, that's not how I view this. I want Ohio State to make the tournament. I want Jake to succeed. But I do kind of get where he's coming from because I'll admit, once we got towards the end of the Chris Holtmann era, I got so frustrated with things during that end of the Holtmann era where I was like, gosh, losing and getting him out of here is maybe the right thing. And, it sucks. It sucks as a fan to think that way, but sometimes you go to dark places as a true passionate fan.
I understand it. It might be misguided a little bit. I get the premise. I don't agree with it. Again, I think it was just a little misguided. 614-821-9710 is the number to call. Andrew did that. And Andrew, you're first up on the Fan Call-In Show. Good morning, Andrew.
Good morning. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it. I just wanted to comment on the game last night. I'm an Ohio State grad, and I went to school in Odin and Conley, and everyone was there, and what a fun time that was. I look at the coaching situation as I do look at it as a problem. I think it's more of the general aspect of the basics and boxing out and just doing the dotting your I's and crossing your T's and doing what you need to do in a basketball game and having that extra motivation and energy and just putting in that extra effort. I don't see it in the team. I think we overplayed that Virginia team and definitely could have won that game. I just think it came to the basics, and he might be too nice of a coach. He needs not to be their friend and coach them to do well in basketball and life, and have them look back down the road and say, I like that coach now, did what he needed to do for me, but at the time they might not like him. I think he needs to maybe be more strict and get them on just, energy and motivation and just the basics.
Andrew, great call, and a lot of really good points that you just made there. In fact, so good that we are going to hook you up with the Walrus gift card. Enjoy some ping pong in that back room. And we still have prizes to give away throughout the show. I have another Walrus gift card. I have Skyline gift cards. So hop on the line, 614-821-9710. But let's talk quickly about what Andrew brought up there, Ryan. And I think there's a lot of things that he said that are right? As far as the energy and boxing out, simple rebound. There's been rebounding issues with this year's team. There were rebounding issues with last year's team. And, to be honest with you, I think it all stems from the lack of depth. And I had an issue with this last year, too, where you got down the stretch and you were playing guys 36, 38, 40 minutes a game, and they were running out of gas late in games. And Ohio State basketball over the last several years has been really, really bad down the stretch of games. They just really have. I think back to a lot of close basketball games that they let get away, that I believe that fatigue came into play because you're playing these guys so many minutes. Now, unfortunately, Mobley being out means what? Chapman and other guys have to step up. And last night we saw Chapman play well early in the game and then completely disappear. So I think the lack of depth is a big problem.
Yeah, and I wonder if that's going to continue because we talk about the football program, right? And you're not going to have 4- and 5-star receivers sitting the bench anymore. I wonder if that's going to be a college basketball thing where you're just going to have depth issues everywhere unless you're a team that's really paying a lot of money for your roster. It's going to be interesting to see, but it is something that has plagued Ohio State here for a while. I want to get more into his thoughts on Jake Diebler as well, because I've been a Jake Diebler believer. But in the last couple weeks, I've started to see some things that have concerned me that Andrew brought up a little bit as well in there. So I want to touch base on that coming up next. Also, Joshua, hang on the line. After this short timeout, we will get to you. 614-821-9710 is the number to call. It is the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
All the 10 TV people come over to our side of the building to take a deuce. That should tell you something about how we operate. The Fan.
It's Timmy Hall and Common Man for Hollywood Casino Columbus, and all month long, there's so much money to win.
You can win $1 million instantly, plus every week there's multiple ways to score big Penn Cash prizes.
And new members who sign up for the Penn Play app can win up to $2,026 in Penn Cash.
And you see the brunch items they still have at the Sportsbook restaurant? Biscoff stuffed French toast, Country Benedict.
Plus, on March 6th, we got Muay Thai and Championship Boxing tickets available on Ticketmaster.
Oh, Muay Thai.
Muay Thai.
Must be 21. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Ah, college. A time to broaden the mind, question, learn. A time to challenge the status quo. And eat a ridiculous amount of pizza, which you can buy with your Huntington Bank debit card with the Ohio State University logo. Huntington Bank is proud to be the official consumer bank of The Ohio State University and the unofficial bank of pizza. Let's go Bucks! Let's get more for money. Switch to Huntington Bank. Welcome.
I started my first business when I was 12, mowing lawns for about $5 a yard. I learned if you do the job right, people trust you and customers care that you show up and do what you say you're going to do. Hi, I'm Tommy Mello, owner of Don's Garage Doors. From garage door repairs to upgrades, we show up, we stand behind every job. We only use the best parts, and spring's guaranteed to last a lifetime. When you care about the people you serve, you work harder and it shows. Call Don's Garage Doors today or schedule online at donsgaragedoors.com.
When it comes to garage doors, no one knows more.
Mike Rowe here with a random fact. More than half of the homes that have basements in North America will experience water damage. It's true. Whether it's basement moisture, flooding, or bowing walls, do yourself a favor and call a groundworks company. I spent some time working with these guys. They're the real deal. Their people are trained and certified to waterproof your basement and stabilize your walls. Schedule a free inspection with Ohio Basement Authority, a groundworks company.
Licensed in all states where work is performed. See website for details.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Jeff's day is off to a slow start. So he heads to AutoZone, America's #1 battery destination, where Sammy, a local AutoZoner, tests his battery for free. Looks like he just needs a charge. And Sammy does that for free too. In no time at all, Jeff is back on the road, ready to finish the day strong. Free battery testing and charging at every store. No hassles, just help.
Get in the zone, AutoZone.
Restrictions apply.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu. An Elite CompTIA certification partner.
Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Get Eco.
Hey, Aaron, with Valentine's Day coming up, there's something I've been meaning to ask you.
Jerry, you're not gonna, open up to me about anything, are you?
Oh, no. We're good.
I mean, I love you like a brother, buddy. I just...
Get Eco.
I was just wondering if we were going to do anything for our customers this Valentine's Day to show them how much we care.
Right.
And with February being a little chilly still, maybe we can help them turn up the heat in the bedroom.
Say what now?
You know, if things are feeling a little chilly, we can help you crank up the heat.
Jerry, if you mean repair a struggling furnace or heat pump, we can totally do that. And if you wake up with no heat, we have crews standing by who can be there the day you call.
Great. That's what I meant. Wait, what else would I have meant by turn up the heat in the bedroom?
Your innocence is downright charming, Jerry.
Get Eco.
Eco plumbers, electricians, and HVAC technicians.
GetEco.com.
Welcome to Tire Discounters. Oh, hiya, Phantom.
Mike, you may be in big trouble with Chip Wood.
Our owner?
Free oil changes along with alignment.
On any Ford tire purchase.
And Michelin's up to $100 off.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mike, but I'm telling.
But the Wood family is behind all this.
Oh, those rascals.
But don't tell the accountants.
Of course not. And what do they do again?
Buy any set of Ford tires at Tire Discounters and get a free alignment and oil change. Make them Michelin's and save up to $100 more. See store for details.
Germain Honda of Dublin cares about your vehicle and your time, and they do that with same-day service with no appointment necessary. Sell them your vehicle at their buying center and get paid as soon as the same day. Shop great lease and finance offers on all the Honda favorites, like the Passport, the Odyssey, and the redesigned Pilot. Service it, sell it, or drive something new. Germain Honda of Dublin on Sawmill Road, just south of 270, or online at germainhondaofdublin.com.
What's the best way to make sure you don't miss any of your favorite fan shows? Oh, no. Download the Fan app, silly.
Ah, damn it, I knew that.
App Store, Google Play, or just scream right at your phone. Psst, you can also listen to Buckeye games. Do it now. Fan weather.
From the Logan AC and Heat Services Weather Center.
The rain will taper off here as we head into this afternoon, and we are tracking then mostly cloudy skies and a few peaks of sunshine here before we wrap up our Sunday. Highs are in the mid to upper 40s, but we are looking at the return of 50s here as we head into Monday and Tuesday. We're all the way up to the lower 60s here, though, for Wednesday and Thursday. And that's a look at your 10 weather impact forecast. I'm meteorologist Aaron White here on 97.1 The Fan.
Question from a listener: do you dopes ever get tired of talking about Ohio State? No. The Buckeye Show.
Weeknights at 6.
The Fan. Back to the show of the fans, by the fans, and for those crazy fans. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
614-821-9710 is the number to call. We've still got some Skyline Chili gift cards to give away to some of our favorite callers. Again, that number, 614-821-9710. We've got some stuff in the YouTube chat as well we're going to get to, but let's head back out to those phone lines. Let's go to Joshua. Joshua, good morning. Thank you for waking up and calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Hey, good morning, boys. How you doing?
We're doing good, buddy. How are you?
I'm great. I was just calling in to talk a little bit about the Buckeyes and their halftime problems. You admitted that they were finding difficulty closing games, but if you look at some of the games earlier in the season that they're losing by 1, they were down by 10 at halftime. In most of the Buckeyes games, they just don't seem to have that first half giddy up to get them in in a good position to keep the games close. They lost a couple 1-point games to North Carolina, and then they had a 1-point West Virginia game as well. So I agree with you that they don't have the depth to finish, but they're just not starting off very well and getting down 10 and having to climb back into games. And if you were to add up a couple of these 1-point games, you've got a seven-loss team. So I think that the start of these first halves is pretty crucial for the Buckeyes now, and they've got enough games left to potentially get in, 2 ranked games, but the Ohio State has to not be down by 10 at halftime and try and claw back into these games to have what they need to get into this tournament. They're close, but a first half start is vital for these boys.
Joshua, that's a great call, and it's something that I think we do a lot of times, especially with calls, like officiating calls. We always look what happens at the end of the game when the game gets decided, but we don't see things earlier. And we talked about the depth of this Ohio State team. When you get behind, you have to exert more energy, and then you need more depth. And when you don't have that's a great point from Joshua there, that if you fall behind, then that really tests your depth.
Yeah, I agree with that. Ohio State was in the lead for much of this game, though, right? They come out of the gates pretty strong. They get a lead in the first half. I think it got up to an 11-point lead. And they gave that up relatively quickly, unfortunately, and then it was tied at the half. And then Ohio State comes out in those first 8 minutes in the second half and builds a lead again. And then Virginia kind of goes on one of those 8-0 runs, and that lead is then gone. And then down the stretch, you're going to have a really tight, close one. And I just keep coming back to, I think in the finishing stretch of these games, Ohio State is running out of gas. I really do believe it, because of all of the stress that you are putting on Bruce Thornton. Because, look, Bruce Thornton's absolutely incredible. Like, the numbers that he put up, and yesterday, getting to that spot, he always gets to that spot in the lane and finds a way to score and all that stuff. But then you get late in the game, the defense gets a little tighter, it's hard to figure out, and you need somebody else to step up. And Bynum had a good game, but you really, really had I'm just going to put it out this nicely, you had a stinker out of Devin Royal yesterday. Devin Royal had 12 shots, scored 4 points, and had 5 fouls.
Yeah.
And he's one of your high-paid returning players. And not only was he not shooting the ball well, again, 12 shots, taken, 4 points scored. He was also making absolutely stupid mistakes throughout this game. You hit a 3 to cut this game to 2 very late. You have a potential for a trap with Bynum and Royal in the backcourt.
Had him in a perfect spot.
Perfect spot, right in the corner. Commits a really stupid foul. He has a couple really bad turnovers. He lets a couple rebounds that we should have gotten get away from him. So that was a absolute stinker game from Royal when you could not have it in that situation.
We want to hear from you, 614-821-9710. That's the number Dale called. Dale, good morning. Thank you for hanging on and calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Well, thank you. Thank you for letting me participate. And to Andrew's point, you called earlier about Diebler being maybe too nice of a guy. I think there is something to that he's, very close to the team. But I think, to me, the main thing is I think his inexperience sometimes at end of games becomes a real problem. Because last night in particular, instead of attacking the press, because they were pressing the whole game, they would get it inbound, and one pass, get it to a guard, and he'd bring it across. Now, down the stretch last night, if you went back and watched that, they'd break the press and then slow down and just, walk the ball, dribble it, pass it. And Virginia figured that out. In about 8 seconds to go in the shot clock, they were clamping down on them defensively. And how many times did they either have a shot clock violation or take a crazy shot? And I think that's part of it to coaching. The coaching could say, hey, let's go. Let's get into our offense. Let's attack. And, and that was when the game was waffling between 3-1 or whatever. And I think that is something that needs to be addressed.
Thank you for the call, Dale. And there's a lot of people that aren't high on Jake Diebler right now. I've been a big I've been a big fan of Jake Diebler since he was hired. And one of the main reasons of that is I know how close his ties are to the Ohio basketball community and the high school realm of things. The high school basketball coaches and the high school basketball programs in this state love Jake Diebler. They love that family. So I thought that would be good for Ohio recruiting. And I don't know. We have 3 Mr. Ohio basketballs on this team right now, and it doesn't seem like, for the level that we want Ohio State to get to, that they're there. Now, I know Darren Peterson left, and he's in Kansas now because of his deal with Adidas and all of that. But I have seen some things recently from Coach Diebler that I don't love. And I'll also put this out there. I've always said this, and I even said this about Ryan Day. I don't believe a first-time head coach, first job should be at Ohio State. This is not the place to get on the job training. This is not the place to go through your growing pains. And we saw growing pains with Ryan Day. Now, it has all worked out because the football program was just that daggone good, and you had the guys like Pantoni and Voltolini and Marotti and this infrastructure that was so good and a recruiting base that was so good that Ohio State football, they could still compete and they could get through that. And we saw growing pains from Ryan Day. It all paid off with Ryan Day when you win the national championship, not this past season, but the season before. I don't know if we're going to get the patience of that with Jake Diebler because the basketball program just isn't in the same spot. And I didn't like the body language and what I thought was giving up at the end of the Michigan game. I don't like the end of game situations. I don't know why Bruce Thornton, and I understand other teams are trying to take him away. I don't understand why in the end of game, the best player doesn't have the ball in his hands. And the one time he had the ball in his hands last night, you got Amari Bynum open for a wide open 3. Bruce hits him. Mari was on last night. He hit it. But I don't like the ball not being in Bruce's hands at the end of the game because he is your number one player. And there is also the issue that Andrew talked about earlier with the rebounding. It doesn't seem like there's enough give a damn when you want to go up and get a ball on the rebounding side of things.
I get we can absolutely be really, really critical that this Ohio State team has a chance to miss the tournament again, and we all expect them to make the tournament. However, let's look at the finances, and are you paying to be a NCAA tournament team?
You're not.
Because, no, you are not paying. Because guess what? I pulled up the transfer portal rankings, and the top transfer portal guy that Ohio State got this year was Christoph Tilley, who I like. I like Tilley, solid player. But he was 85th in the transfer portal rankings in this last class. Your next highest transfer portal player was Brandon Knoll at 171. 171 in the country as far as transfer portal. And that was your transfer portal class. Mm-hmm. Michigan. I pull up the Michigan transfer portal. You know they have 4 guys that were in the top 50 of the transfer portal. So they had 4 guys come in to the program this year who are all killing it, by the way. All 4 of those guys are absolutely stars on that team. But they were all top 50 in the rankings in transfer portal. And that's because Michigan is spending money. You go up and down this Big Ten standings, and you look at these teams that are near the top, they are all spending big money on NIL. Ohio State is spending middle of the pack Big Ten money on NIL, which is why Ohio State is a bubble team. We can criticize Jake Diebler all we want. We can talk about coaching. We can talk about this, that, the players, all this. It really comes down to building your roster with money, and Ohio State spends the money of a bubble team.
And, I mean, middle of the pack is being generous because most of the things you hear out there, and I don't know if any of this is true, but most of the things you hear are 12th to 14th. So that's the lower third of the Big Ten. 12th to 14th is what they're spending on their roster compared to other Big Ten teams. And that's lower third. That's not good enough. That's why you're where you're at.
Yes. Yeah, it's the lack of money. So real quick before we take a break, I just want to read off the transfer portal the last few years. You've gotten Knoll, Tilley, and Gabe Cupps. Tilley, fine. Knoll, hurt. Hasn't produced. Cupps, big miss. All right, year before that, Quez Glover, Sean Stewart, Aaron Bradshaw, Michi Johnson, 4 busts, and then 1 good player, Micah Parrish. That's not a good class to hit 1 out of 6. And then you've got Dale Bonner, Evan Mahaffey, Jamison Battle. The year before that, you went 1 of 3. The year before that, you had Ice Likely, Tanner Holden, Sean McNeil. They have failed in the transfer portal over the last 4 years, and that's why this continues to be a bubble program.
Which, by the way, Aaron Bradshaw has had a nice little run here recently with Memphis. That kind of little salt in the wounds there. For you as well.
No,
it may not have worked here, but I'm just saying he's had a good 10, 12 games
All
here with Memphis if you go look at the stats. Rich, hang on the line. We will get to you in 2 minutes when we're back. It's the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
You still thinking job change in the new year?
Yeah, I need something that's in high demand and more stable in this economy.
IT?
Yeah, cybersecurity, maybe even AI.
That's what I did.
Really? How?
Went to My Computer Career. You don't need any prior experience, and you could start your new career in a matter of months. A lot of IT pros go to school there, too, to level up.
Sweet. Are classes online or on campus?
Both.
Well, I'll check it out. Thanks.
Make this your year. Take the free career evaluation now at mycomputercareer.edu, an Elite CompTIA certification partner. Financial aid is available to those who qualify, including VA benefits.
Hey, Columbus, big news. For a limited time, get Uber One free for a full year so you can save on food and rides. That's a $96 value on us. Just use code Columbus. Get 1 year of $0 delivery fees, 10% off eligible food and grocery orders, and up to 6% Uber One credits on rides. Sign up for this limited time offer today using code Columbus and save big with Uber One. Offer valid through 3/31/26. Savings and $0 delivery fee on eligible orders and rides only. Fees and terms apply. See app for details.
The nightmare of the cleared drain. Those drain clearing specials from the other guys seem like a great deal until you realize the only thing really going down your drain is your money. At the Waterworks, we mean clean. Our service doesn't just clear your drains, it cleans them too. It's done right the first time, so that nightmare of a drain becomes a dream come true. The Waterworks. Better care, better value, better results. Call 614-232-2222 to get started.
I'm Jay Plyburn, anchor at 10 TV News This Morning. Not long ago, my wife Whitney and I packed up a camper van, hit the road, and spent months exploring national parks and small-town farmers markets, having the adventure of a lifetime. Now my goal is to help you start your day feeling informed and ready for what's ahead. From the impact of state and local decisions to breaking news from Dublin to Delaware, we've got you covered. Because when news moves fast, you need a team that moves with you. Make the move to 10 TV News This Morning, weekdays from 5 to 9, anywhere you watch.
The radio couldn't contain us, so we've taken over YouTube. Catch Morning Juice weekday mornings at 6 by searching 971 The Fan. Do it. Ever want to be a radio star? Or at least hear your voice on the air? Perhaps embarrass all your relatives? This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
Thanks to everyone who has called in so far. If you would like to do so, 614-821-9710. We do have some Skyline gift cards to some of our favorite callers here this morning. Also, some chatter over on the YouTube chat. You can join that as well. Just search 971 The Fan. You can watch all of our shows there. Check those out and watch them later, too. We'll get to a couple of those YouTube chat comments here in a minute. But we do have Rich waiting on the line, so let's head out to those phone lines and let's go to Rich. Rich, good morning. Thanks for calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Good morning, guys. You pretty much summed it up, you know. It's about the Jimmies and the Joes. When are we going to start spending some money? Coach Diebler, yeah, he's new. He's got the bloodline. I think he has the state. He's got the X's and O's, but we need some Jimmies and Joes.
Yeah, I'm with you. Look, you could have Tom Izzo coaching a team, and if you are 12th in NIL money in the conference, you're probably going to be a bubble team with Tom Izzo as your head coach, too. I mean, it really is about what you spend now. Like, look at the top 25. It's what you spend. You see all these elite freshmen this year in college basketball, and they got paid, right? They got a lot of money to go to those schools, and those schools are succeeding. And the ones that were very active and very big on getting transfer portal guys, absolutely. Now, I think the big question for Ohio State has to be, well, how much are you willing to give Ohio State basketball, right? So all the emphasis, we know because we live and breathe it here, is Ohio State football, right? And there was, during the broadcast last night, Gus Johnson was kind of talking about this a little bit too, as the money you kind of allocate some more towards Ohio State basketball and take a little bit away from Ohio State football? Isaiah, go ahead and play it.
But the difference between UVA and Ohio State is that money UVA paid for it. Ohio State, they're giving all the money to Ryan Day.
And that's the challenge you have with a lot of football schools is the distribution of cash. Now, how many times do you go to the same donors is the question as well. And this is a evolving scenario for all these schools, especially a school like Ohio State. If you want to compete, you got to pay nowadays.
So we're all very critical of if Ohio State makes a mistake in the portal for football, right? We focus in so much on football. And after 2 years ago, when Ohio State had the haul they did in the transfer portal, what do? They go in and win a national championship. Had an incredible haul in the transfer portal, spent a ton of money on it. One of the criticisms from this last year's team is that the transfer portal haul wasn't quite as great as expected, right? After the national championship, you had some guys come in, but it wasn't as elite as the year before. And so you got to wonder, like, how much are you willing to move some of that football money into basketball when you look at this basketball program and you're seeing so many empty seats, you're seeing frustration and all that stuff. So you got to find a way to make new money for basketball without taking money away from football, because guess what? You're not going to win on taking money away from football because that's not going to happen.
And Ross Bjork said as much. He did an interview with 11 Warriors here this past week, and he said as much. He said, we've got to find a way to raise more money. He didn't say we're going to find a way to give them more money. He said, we've got to find a way to raise more money for basketball. So they're not changing what they're allocating for football and basketball. They just want to try to drum up more and make more for the basketball. And I've heard a lot recently, well, look at the wrestling program. The wrestling program is doing so well. Look at what Ty Tucker's doing with the tennis team. Well, the women's basketball team, they're a tournament team every year. And my pushback on those statements are nobody's really giving NIL money to tennis and wrestling. Like, no program in the country is doing that. There might be a few that give some to wrestling, but nobody's giving money to those athletes. So it's kind of a level playing field. The women's basketball team, that is the women's team that Ohio State has chosen to put their NIL money in. And if you want to look at women's athletics, look at the softball team. The softball team had a nice year last year. A lot of those players left because they could go to SEC schools or Big 12 schools where they have chosen to put their money into softball and their softball program. So those players left and went to other schools because they could get money there that they're not going to get here at Ohio State. Now, Ohio State, they have to put money into the women's basketball team because that's the program they chose from the women's side of things to give the money to. So they are competing in that level. Now, they're a top 10 team right there on the fringe. Now, I don't know if they're any better than that because when they played UCLA, who's a top 5 team, they got hammered. When they played UConn earlier this year, they got crushed. But they are competing at least with the money in that sport. So they're different comparisons here. And again, if you believe the reports, the reporting is that Ohio State is anywhere from 12th to 14th in NIL spending in basketball.
Which 12th to 14th puts you as probably about a bubble or barely on the bubble as far as NCAA tournament, right? Because you'll see 8 to 10 teams make the NCAA tournament. And so guess what? Ohio State is squarely on the bubble, but it's because they spent bubble money in the transfer portal. And so, I'm 100%, I agree with Gus Johnson in the fact that this money going to Ryan Day, and that's not going to change, right? And it shouldn't change, but you got to be creative in finding ways. You and I were talking about this during the break. And to be honest with you, you got to start thinking, how am I going to raise NIL money? And you and I were talking about, you've got a supporter in LeBron James that wore Ohio State shoes the other day, and they look sweet. Like the shoes are incredible. I was like, I don't spend a lot of money on shoes, but I'm like, oh man,
spent $200 probably on those.
If I'm going to spend some money, I'm going to spend them on that. But I'm watching that, and you brought up a good point. It's like, why not get LeBron James to sign 10 of those and start raising NIL money that way.
Or not even that. Just let's produce them and put them out there for people to buy, and all the proceeds go to Ohio State NIL.
How about a few game-worn LeBron shoes up for auction?
Yeah.
Gosh, that'd be incredible. And so you got to think of ways how this basketball team can raise NIL money. And because it's not going to be taken from football.
I want to get to some of the YouTube chat comments. Chris said he wants Ohio State in the tournament because it's more fun than some of his friends get involved in OSU hoops as well. $10. Buckeye basketball isn't going anywhere. Still can't finish games. Sucks because I want to see Bruce dancing. That would be a bummer if Bruce goes his whole career and doesn't get into the tournament. PDX Buckeye, Ohio State has a tournament-ready team, and they play today. Let's celebrate the Ohio State women's team. We just talked about them a little bit. Kevin McCuff doing a great job with them. Caleb Devin Royal is not a small forward. That hurts too. But this bad part, we don't really have one that can play consistently. What else do we got here?
Yeah, well, you look for some more. I do want to talk more about Bruce and the NCAA tournament. You know, watching him last night, he's one of those guys that, gosh, people fall in love with if you're as far as March, right? If you're kind of a neutral fan and you're watching the NCAA tournament, and you see a guy like Bruce Thornton who's a guard who can just carry a team. Yeah, that's the killer. Like this team is probably not going to make the tournament. Now, without Mobley, I don't have confidence down the stretch that this team can get enough wins to make the tournament. In fact, there were betting odds that came out earlier in the week that kind of were tilted towards Ohio State just barely likely making it. In fact, Ohio State to miss the tournament was, I think, plus 105. And these odds were on Thursday and Friday. And so it's like, okay, if you can pull off this win over Virginia, it feels like this is going to be a tournament team. But after last night, confidence level went from about 50-50 to now I'm about 25% that this team can make the tournament.
Yeah, that would have been a big one. That would have been a quad win one that would have stayed. Right now you've got Northwestern, but they're right on that line of falling out. So if Northwestern struggles down the stretch, that's going to drop and you're going to be over.
And that pit loss.
Quad one win 2 years in a row. The pit loss.
The pit loss.
Brutal.
Yes. I was sitting in
both of those
arena.
games. Maybe you're the problem here, Scotty.
I am not going in any more Ohio State pit basketball games. But I'm sitting in that arena, and I just when we left, and I was so angry, and bad words are coming out of my mouth on the way out to the car. But I remember thinking, if this is the one that ends up killing Ohio State and keeping them out of the tournament, this is going to sting. I didn't think it would get to that point because I thought Ohio State would be a comfortable tournament team at that point. But, man, that sucks.
This one from Martin in the YouTube, too. Ohio State needs to stop taking Ohio Mr. Basketball winners that can't play at major college level. Ohio State's two best players are from Georgia and Nebraska. And, listen, that's something that we talked a little bit about. Ohio State can do nothing about that. I mean, you can't do anything about the talent in the state right now and the players that are in the state. There's nothing you can do about that. The players in the state are the players in the state. There have been some players that have come from Ohio that have been better at the college level than some of these Ohio Mr. Basketballs. This still doesn't mean that these guys weren't great high school players in high school. For some reason, though, the game just isn't transferring over to the college level.
Well, and unfortunately, depth-wise, Ohio State has missed on a couple, like, as far as making these NIL payments out to. Like, unfortunately, Gabe Cupps is not working out. Let's be honest with you. That transfer portal addition from Indiana, it's been a dud so far because you're not getting much defensively out of him. You're seeing turnovers. You're just seeing a guy who's not ready for this level of basketball. And then Colin White's another kid that love him, like an Ohio kid, but gosh, it's like deer in the headlights when he's out on the court. Like, it just doesn't seem right. He's shown a flash or two over the 2 years, but just doesn't look like he should be on the court in a Big Ten basketball game, unfortunately.
Yeah, and Devin Royal may be playing a little bit out of position here right now for him. But there's flashes from Devin, right? Like a couple games ago, 16 was a big part of that. Last night, it was just a big clunker for him. against Virginia. Jim, hang on that line. We will get to you. Final segment of the Fan Call-In Show next on The Fan.
Winners of the prestigious Platinum Microphone Award every year, given to the best radio station in the world. No need to look it up. It's real. The Fan.
Chronic pain can make life feel impossible, but at QC Kinetics, there's a breakthrough that's giving people real hope. Stem wave therapy.
It has fundamentally changed the way I look at cases after 30 years in practice. So when we talk about regenerative medicine, we're talking about these types of devices.
That's Dr. Tony DeCesaro, one of the nation's authorities on stem wave therapy.
Been around for about 30 years in Europe. Now it's really taken a real foothold. People are tired of just using pills that really cover everything up and they don't really heal.
This device is both diagnostic and therapeutic, helping the medical team at QC Kinetics find the problem and trigger your body's natural healing response.
It's about giving hope, right? That there are options.
QC Kinetics. Harness the power of stem wave and get relief now. Your first treatment is only $49. Call for your consultation here in Columbus. 380-208-4544. That's 380-208-4544. 380-208-4544. QC Kinetics. 380-208-4544.
Hey Central Ohio, it's Andrew from Home Team Solutions, and yes, we buy houses for cash the easy way. We've been buying houses for over 20 years and we've seen it all. Whether you've inherited a property, you're behind on payments, the house needs work, or just want to avoid the hassle of listing, we've got you covered. No repairs, no clean out, no stress, just a fair cash offer and you pick the closing date. We've helped hundreds of homeowners sell fast and hassle-free, and we're proud to have 5-star reviews all across Central Ohio and an A+ rating with the BBB. If you're ready to sell your house the easy way, call Home Team Solutions at 614-962-SELL. That's 614-962-7355, or visit us online at selltohometeam.com. Home Team Solutions, local, trusted, and family-owned. Again, that's 614-962-SELL. 614-962-7355 or selltohometeam.com.
Hey there, friends. Bo Bishop here from my friends at High Bank Distillery Co. It's well known High Bank is my go-to when I want an award-winning whiskey, but did you also know that they make the best vodka in America? They have 3 incredible spots here in Central Ohio where the food is just as good as what's in the glass. They've got something for everyone, and get this, kids eat half off every Monday, so whether you're sipping on the best vodka in America or simply grabbing a meal with family and friends, High Bank delivers every time. Find a location and a menu at highbankco.com. Dine, drink, distill at High Bank.
My advisor at Plant Moran Wealth Management knows my definition of wealthy. Rescue animals. Everywhere. So, my husband and I bought property and opened a sanctuary. It's our happy place. And from the sound of it, it's their happy place too.
You have your own personal definition of wealthy. Plant Moran Wealth Management knows it takes a personal approach to get you there. Experience the difference with Plant Moran Wealth Management. Book a consultation today.
Great Lakes Hyundai. The savings are so good.
Great Lakes Hyundai wants you to save your refund this tax season with 90 days of no car payments and 0% financing on 26 Hyundai Santa Fe's and Tucsons for up to 60 months. No payments, 90 days, 0%. Keep your tax money in your pocket. Go now for the Hyundai Getaway Sales Event. Dublin or Columbus or glakeshyundai.com. With proof credit, some customers may not qualify. Interest accrues during no payment period. New Hyundais come equipped with owner assurance and America's best warranty. A 10-year, 100,000-mile powertrain coverage. Offer ends 3/2.
Would you enjoy watching a football game if the officials were paid a bonus for every flag they threw? Or a basketball game where the refs got paid for every foul they called? Okay, how about hiring a furnace and AC company that pays its technicians by the number of parts they can sell you? Hi, this is Dennis, president of Care Heating and Cooling, and today, this is how many companies operate. They call it performance pay, and it rewards technicians by paying them more for billing you more. Why is this bad? Because it abuses your trust in a technician to be treated fairly and honestly. At Care, we've been family-owned for 31 years and have always paid our technicians by the hour for repairs. We'll show you exactly what needs to be fixed and why, and give you our low upfront costs before we start. And unlike other companies, our technicians will never be rewarded for throwing more flags. Our Central Ohio-based staff is here for you 7 days a week. Care Heating and Cooling. Book an appointment online at careheatingandcooling.com or call us at 1-800-COOLING. When you need a company you can trust.
Do you suffer from leg pain, leg swelling, varicose veins, or leg ulcers? Dr. Barry Zeta and Dr. Joseph Senta at Ohio Vein and Vascular Polaris are pioneers in the vein and vascular field. Dr. Zeta and Dr. Senta can perform minimally invasive procedures that will get you back on track to a pain-free life. Stop living with leg pain and start the process to healthy living with a free healthy leg screening. Go to loveyourveins.com or call 614-426-VEIN. That's 614-426-VEIN or loveyourveins.com.
In the old days when people lived to be 40, you only had one option for listening to your favorite show. But now, ooh, baby, radio, podcast, the Fan app, and YouTube, just to name a few, live or on demand. You have no excuses. The Fan.
The Fan Guest Hotline is sponsored by Accurate Heating and Cooling and Bryant, doing whatever it takes to keep you and your home comfortable. The Fan.
Your kids and spouse might not listen to you, but we will. This is the Fan Call-In Show.
Sponsored by the Sportsbook at Hollywood Casino Columbus. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-589-9966.
A big thanks to Andrew, Joshua, Dale, and Rich for all calling in to the Fan Call-In Show this morning. Also, thank you to all of you that chimed in over at the YouTube chat. We really appreciate it. Let's get to one final caller here this morning. It's our good friend, Jim. Jim, good morning. Thank you for calling the Fan Call-In Show.
Thanks for taking my call, guys. Appreciate y'all. Listen, you got to remember, y'all being a little hard on Diebler. Remember, we got late game day coaches the football team. He's giving away some doozies. They lost to Virginia by 4 points. You know, here's the deal. You guys are too young to remember Frank Martin at South Carolina. He invented this new NIL model. He recruited JUCOs and 25 and 26-year-old players. And I remember the NCAA tournament. They just beat the dog doo-doo out of Duke. Now, a program like Duke can recruit diaper dandies, the 17, 18-year-olds, because they get 4 or 5 a year. The rest of these programs need to be like Houston and Florida and Arkansas and Arizona and all these schools. You want to be successful, it's about men playing against boys. You got to recruit kids that are 23, 24, 25 years old that have been at 2 or 3 schools that look like men, and they're playing against these college-age kids. And Diebler just doesn't have the talent. And I will agree with the last caller, or no, it was one of you two guys. I have no idea why Ohio State brings in a kid like Cupps. That must be a relationship he had with his dad at Centerville. But they also had the kid from Crestview, very small high school up in Northwest Ohio, and a big guy from St. Mary's. Now, anybody who's coached any kind of high school or college basketball knows those kids weren't going to project to play that level of basketball. I say just give Diebler a chance. I'm going back to the movie Hoosiers, and when she stood up in front of the school board meeting when they were getting ready to fire my boy, and she said, give the man a chance. Give Diebler a chance. That's all I got to say this morning.
I get it, Jim. Jim, we're going to hook you up with that Skyline Chili gift card. We appreciate the call. And I'm with you, Jim, to be honest with you. I believe that Jake Diebler should be back no matter what. I know there's a lot of people out there that are starting to sour and say, hey, if Ohio State misses the tournament this year, that should be it. You got to move on. The problem is, guys, if you move on from Jake Diebler and you're still spending the same amount of money, you're not going to get different results. Mm-hmm. If you spend more money, Ohio State, again, the top transfer portal guy they got, Christoph Tilley, was ranked 85th. He was ranked 85th in the transfer portal market. Michigan had 4 guys that were ranked in the top 50 of the transfer portal market. Now, part of it is you can criticize a little bit about the management of what guys you select in the transfer portal, and I think that's fair because I do know I have a dollar figure in mind of some of these guys that they did bring in, and you might question how they spent some of this money. But again, if you are spending the amount of money that Ohio State spends, I don't care who the coach is, they are going to struggle to make the tournament based on what Ohio State spends.
And I do think it's going to be interesting what this roster looks like. And obviously, we've got to push here. Hopefully, the Buckeyes get in the NCAA tournament. What it's going to look like next year. Because Bruce will be gone. Tilley will be gone. Noel will be gone. You're only bringing in 2 guys in this recruiting class. Anthony Thompson, who McDonald's All-American, long player, 6'9", big wingspan, coming in out of Western Reserve up in Northeast Ohio. And then Alex Smith, the kid from Upper Arlington, who's 6'9", kind of reminds me a little bit of Tilly in his game. 6'9", but long, kind of a slasher type. He's down in Florida now, playing at Prolific Prep. So you're gonna have spots to fill. So I wonder how they attack the transfer portal, what they'll be looking for. You'd got to think they're going to have to bring in a guard to replace Bruce, somebody that can handle the ball and score on the outside. But it's going to be very interesting to see how they handle it as they're working through this new model of college basketball and what way exactly they want to go to. I'm with you. I think Diebler will be back. I want Diebler back. I have seen some things, though, here recently that have concerned me with him. But again, I don't think Ohio State's the place to learn on the job, but he's here now. And I do think he deserves a little more runway here with this thing.
I do too. And you and I were talking off air. We believe 5, 6, 7 years from now that Jake Diebler is going to be a great head basketball coach. Like he's got a lot of the traits that you like, right? And a really good recruiter, good relationship guy. I think very high basketball IQ. I love a lot about what Jake Diebler. He's just a year and a half into head coaching experience, right? A year and a half. And we both believe he'll be very good going forward. It's just, will Ohio State be patient enough for that to be here? Will Ohio State put the resources in enough for that to be here? That's the question.
I don't know about the really good recruiter, how much that matters anymore. I think it's the money that matters, right? I think the money matters, right? But you're not getting top 10 kids without paying the top 10 market, right?
That's true.
I don't know how much that matters, but yes, I am confident Jake Diebler will be a really good college basketball coach. Will that be at Ohio State or not? I guess we'll have to figure out. I'm sure more Ohio State basketball talk coming up next. It's Dave Biddle. It's Scotty Vegas. It's On the Money. Thanks, everybody, for listening and calling in to the Fan Call-In Show on The Fan.
No hot takes, no dancing, plenty of stupid. Bishop and Friends.
Weekdays from 9 to noon.
The Fan, Ohio.